And the legend of the rent was way past due. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Oh, you dare come on this show and talk about the Dallas Cowboys.
I want my restitution, Goose.
And welcome back to the Chuck and Shoop show. I'm your host, Shoop, with my very lovely guest.
Chuck, it's me. I'm back. I've been back. What's up?
Yes, we are absolutely back, as is football. You've heard it for months. We're not going to say it again, but we are going to say it again. It's week one of the NFL season. College football is fully in swing. We got our first full week. We already had some craziness happen in college football, which we will get to, but we can't start the show off any way else but our favorite segment. Let's give out our W's and our L's for the week. Chuck, who you got for your W?
W coming right off the bat. I hope you guys haven't forgotten. Baseball's still going on. I forgot about it for a little, but I did keep in touch, and the Yankees brought up all their baby bombers, and they're absolutely balling. They just swept the Astros as of this past weekend. The 3-0. They beat them Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's just an awesome feeling to finally see the young guys that everybody's been talking about for forever finally coming up and producing. The guy, the Martian, his name is Jason. He's wearing like number 89. He hit 2 home runs this weekend. The guy's 20 years old. He's the third Yankee to hit 2 home runs in less than 3 games in his debut. Only other guys to do it, Aaron Judge and Yogi Berra. And I think there's a fourth guy, but I'm excited just to see how these guys play out. I am getting a little too hopeful that they're only 8.5 games behind the wild card chase, but you never know what happens in baseball. We've seen the Rangers this end of the season go down, and they're losing their spot, and the Giants. Like, you never know what's going to happen in baseball. So I'm excited the Yankees are finally doing good. So W Bombers.
Yeah,
Bombers.
good to see their prospects hitting well. As for the other New York baseball team, the good news on this front is DJ Stewart. Where the hell did he come from? He's just raking out home runs left and right. And Pete Alonso is in the 40-100 club once again. It's his 3rd season doing it. He's in an elite company already. So congrats to him. Hopefully he continues to have a great career.
Yeah.
Another guy who is on trajectory to have an amazing career is Deion Sanders. He's already had an amazing career as a football player, now the football coach, turned around the Jackson State program, and now he's got this Colorado program. And the very first game that he coaches, I don't want to say I called it, but I called it. Colorado goes on the road and upsets TCU. But, it wasn't just the fact that they upset him. It's the way that the players responded. Like, I could see it from the opening kickoff where 4 or 5 guys swarmed the TCU returner. They're all getting hyped up. And then you have some just incredible talents on this team. Obviously, let's start with his son, Shedeur Sanders, who threw a school record 510 yards in his very first career start, coming over from Jackson State, now in Colorado, against a team that was in the national championship last year. This wasn't no small prize. So him, Dylan Edwards is a dog at running back. He's extremely fast and an amazing playmaker, but gotta give it up to Travis Hunter. Played 130 snaps total, playing on offense and defense. This guy is a fantastic slot receiver and a shutdown corner at the same time. I mean, besides Caleb Williams, I don't see a better favorite for the Heisman right now. Like, who else is doing that? It's absolutely unheard of. The talent on this team is definitely way better than it was when they were 1-11 last year. But it's the way that these players just rally around this coach. It's going to change the way college football operates forever. You get it with the transfer portal, and you get a coach like Deion, personal coach. Imagine some of these players that come out of the NFL when they retire. If they want to take over a team, they could have the same kind of impact.
Oh yeah. It's probably the greatest thing for college football right now.
I believe so. And not to mention that Texas State pulled an upset over Baylor, and they had the second most incoming transfers with new head coach G.J. Kinn, who was a backup NFL quarterback for a few years. So transfers are, you could say they're ruining college football, whatever, but it's definitely evening the playing field in a lot of ways.
I definitely agree.
So that's a way in which players rally around a head coach and lead them to victory. Now for my L, let's go to a team that decided to do everything possible to lose the game for a head coach. And I'm talking about the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah.
You watched that game last night. It looked like Clemson, and not even it looked like, Clemson was the better team than Duke for most of that game. Clemson was constantly having drives, getting into the red zone. But then these were the drives for the Clemson offense. It was punt, blocked field goal, punt, fumble, touchdown, punt, another blocked field goal. Then they fumble inside the 10-yard line. And then the next drive, they fumble inside the 5-yard line. And then turnover on downs, interception, turnover on downs. Sloppy, unorganized play, not showing up like they're supposed to. Maybe they're out here looking ahead to Florida State. It's probably the most logical explanation, but it's just an embarrassment because the play, I can't really find any reason to blame Dabo Swinney at all. It was just the players just absolutely let him down. And it looks like this Clemson program is far away from where they were even 5 years ago when they had Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, I bet. And also we got DJ Ungalale balling at Oregon State. So it also, maybe it's not Debo. I mean, Debo. Maybe it's not Debo Samuels. Maybe it's not Dabo, but maybe it's the coaching staff around him as well. Like, are these guys putting the players in the best situation to execute? And are they helping the team? And it doesn't look like that after what you just said about their execution on all of those drives. So special teams too. It's also special teams too.
Yeah, point blank. Oh, and also leave a comment if you believe you can pronounce DJ Ukulele better than Charlie can.
Yeah, and I bet you probably could.
Yes. So that's a minor L, but let's give out a major L, Chuck. Who's it going for?
I wouldn't say maybe it's not that major, but honestly, like something to watch out for as you watch all these games in the month of September in the United States. It's fucking hot as hell out in down south, and I was watching this weekend. A lot of guys just like injury timeouts. They're not really injured; it's cramping, and we saw in the. I mean, that was a hamstring injury, but in South Carolina game, they had their best safety. He came out in the first 2 plays because he tweaked his hamstring. But that also has to do with are you hydrating yourself? Are you taking care of your body? I saw it last night in a tennis game, in a tennis match. It was a 6 versus a 12 seed. This guy from Italy who's a 6 seed. Cramp, you could just see his calf just like giving out, and he's cramping, he's stretching. You see he's eating dates on the sideline. Like, this is the time of year you're going to see guys go down, and I'm wondering to see how players keep themselves hydrated, especially like football games down south where it's fucking, you're playing in like Louisiana or you're playing in Death Valley and it's fucking like 100 degrees at night, or it's like 90 degrees at night. So it's interesting how these players are going to combat themselves with the heat. So also stay hydrated if you're outside. That's all I wanted to say. Huge L if you're cramping.
I blame this. I'll give this L for you out to DK Metcalf and Marshawn Lynch, guys who publicly come out and said that they just eat like Skittles on game day.
I need to get on that diet.
Like, it's just, look, it's good for you, but that shit just sets unrealistic expectations for all players. Maybe they think they can do the same thing and they can't. Most humans can't. So they're superhumans, but not everyone can be. So help for those guys. So let's go over some college football. Chuck, you had some rough going with your pick'em. 1-4, I believe. I had 3-2. I was helped out by my upset My lock did not hit. San Jose State. I don't know why I would pick a whack team, but that was a whack decision by me, of course. But yeah, so let's move forward and let's talk about first. We talked about a couple teams already, but besides the ones that we talked about already, who impressed you this week, and who, which team do you think needs improvement?
Um, team that really impressed me was Florida State, and they just absolutely took it to LSU. Their front
True.
seven just absolutely balled out. They got their defense off the field in crucial moments in the red zone. Like first play was a big play, and then a defense. How do you respond after a big play? How do you like? Oh fuck, we just started this game. It was a 65-yard catch and run. Now they're in the goal line. They responded right out the gate. Fucking stuffed them. I don't know. We can get on LSU for improvements, but FSU came out, ball the fuck out. Also, UNC, I want to say their front line absolutely took it to South Carolina. Spencer Rattler was running for his life in the backfield. So I totally underestimated that UNC defense, and their secondary played really well. Um, I knew their offense would put points on the board, but I didn't think their defense would play that well and let up really like no rushing yards. Also, one more I'll give out is Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is one of the best teams in the country. They've played nobody, right? This weekend they play NC State, but I think they're just absolutely going to smack NC State at NC State. So that's who I have so far improving.
Yeah, I could see that. And obviously, I already talked about Colorado, how much they impressed me. Shout out to Oregon State because I did pick against them. But their offense looked very crisp. Receivers were just getting open. Ukulele was making all the right reads.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Defense was disciplined. Uh, I wasn't sure if they would justify that high ranking, but they certainly did this week. And then I'll give a shout out to Rutgers because they're they're no longer the joke of the Big Ten. The
Yeah.
torch, it just took that torch and just shoved it up Northwestern and said, "Here you go, buddy. It's yours now. You're the joke now." And that Northwestern probably needs a lot more than just improvement. But give credit to Rutgers for holding them to like a shutout. I believe. I don't think they gave up any points that
The
game.
24/7.
24/7. So late garbage time touchdown.
Yeah.
Now Rutgers plays Temple. They're a 9-point favorite. Can you keep the momentum up?
I think Rutgers definitely could. Are they at home?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I think they got this in the bag. They got Greg Schiano still. So I love how you said they passed the torch to Northwestern.
Yeah, they did. So what other teams are you looking for more out of this coming week?
So I was watching just now Texas versus Rice. Their offense looks good, but I feel like they just got off to such a slow start, like selling for field goals. Like you're gonna go into a hostile environment in Alabama, and you got to make sure that you're ready to come out the gate scoring. I know Alabama has a lot of injuries in the secondary, but if you don't get on them quick, like you don't get up 10 or like 14 maybe in like the first half, like then it could be a dogfight the entire game, especially in Alabama. So I think Texas offense, I think, has to come out firing. I'm looking for them to improve. And the most obvious one is Ohio State's offense. It looked really, maybe I want to say it was the play calling. A lot of things Day was doing was super conservative. They could not really run the ball up front against Indiana team that I didn't know had good defensive linemen, but it's really going to be a challenge to how Ohio State comes back against a dog shit Youngstown State team.
Yeah, and it is a little worrying to see a team that's not a defensive juggernaut like Indiana be able to hold those premier outside receivers to just a couple of catches each. It did open up the middle game. You know, Fleming and Cade Stover got theirs, tight end, slot receiver. But is that going to be the theme all season? Is it just going to be passes funneled over the middle? This offensive line for Ohio State is a work in progress for sure. A lot of new stars up front, so their development is going to be the key this season. And another team, so I believe you talked about North Carolina before, how like impressive they were on defense. But on the
Yeah,
other hand, South Carolina, I just feel like Spencer Rattler is way too talented for all the play calling to just be short bubble screens. And he also is kind of let down by his offensive line.
dude. Yeah,
But the guy can sling the ball. I hope that when it gets to SEC play, that they don't get too scared and try to air it out. But at the same time, they might just end up getting mauled by these terrific D lines that
yeah,
Alabama, Georgia, LSU, all these teams have. So we'll see if they can improve on that front. But definitely a huge hurt to Spencer Rattler's potential Heisman
yeah.
chances.
And he threw for 347. Like that's still good. Like even like against North Carolina, it's expected, but that's still amazing passing yards.
Yeah, he did hold his own there. So we got one premier game this weekend, and it's a rematch of what was maybe one of the more entertaining games the past few years when Texas nearly knocked off Alabama. This is back when Texas wasn't even on the map as a ranked team. Um, and Nick Saban, even after winning, was so pissed off at his team. So there's definitely some emotion going to be going into this game. Now these teams are both in the top 11. Texas goes into Bama this time, though. So, what are your thoughts on how this game ends up?
I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's definitely going to be a dogfight. It definitely could get ugly quick if Texas doesn't officially move the ball offensively and settles for field goals instead of touchdowns, because I think Alabama is going to control the clock and absolutely try to run all over them. And that I forgot the quarterback's name for Alabama, Monroe or I forgot his
Milrow.
Milrow. He looks really good running the ball. I think he could be very effective if they run him and just also control the clock while running the ball. So I think I got Alabama -7 because they're at home. That's not like one of my locks, but I don't think Texas coming in is ready for the SEC just yet.
I'm not too confident in Texas either, even though I do have them as a playoff contender. Um, I just don't think that. I think the coaching battle here is what really matters. I think Saban is more used to these kinds of games,
Yeah.
and he'll have his guys ready, even though there's quarterback changes, turnover on defense. I think there's a bit of overreaction from the public about the downfall of Alabama.
Yeah.
I don't think it's happened yet. Are they Georgia right now? No, nobody's Georgia in the whole college football landscape. But you insert a new quarterback in there, they still got playmakers all over the field, as does Texas. But it's in Tuscaloosa. Texas, I don't remember the last time they won a big game like this.
Yeah.
Uh, I like Bama. I think early in the season they're a team that stays pretty focused. So I'll take them as well.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Also, side note, I was doing some research. I heard a video. Alabama's putting Texas's band in the top bleacher seats, like in the nosebleeds, because last year
Nice.
Texas put Alabama's band in the nosebleeds. So something to look forward to there for the game.
Fire, baby. I love
Exactly.
it.
Rolling.
All right, so let's before we get into NFL, let's go over a few picks. Give me a couple locks and an upset that you have.
Okay, so quick. I have 3 lots like I did last week. I got Utah -7.5. They play Baylor. Baylor got fucking killed by Texas State this past week. I know Baylor's at home, but I got Utah. Colorado -2.5 against Nebraska. Colorado's at home. Colorado's riding this Dion wave. Like I'm all on it. I'm a Buffs fan now. Give me Colorado -2.5. And then ND plays NC State at 1 o'clock. I got ND -7. I don't know why it's -7, but I think they're gonna kill NC State.
Okay, so I got my locks. I got Pittsburgh -7.5 at home versus Cincinnati. I don't think the public realizes how bad this Cincy team is. They did not replenish the talent they had a couple of years ago. So the public might still view them as a pesky like non-power five team. They're not.
No.
It's really not their year. I got that. App State versus North Carolina. The over under in this game is 58. Last year's game went way over. Watching the way this defense, specifically the D line, performed, I have an inclination to go under in this game. I think they hold App State. I think 41-14 sounds about in the realm. It's kind of like that Colorado line where it's like Colorado is a 3-point favorite, and I love Colorado, but why are they only a 3-point favorite? Why wouldn't this line be more than 58? That's because I think the the improvements made to this defense will factor in, and I think it could be a North Carolina blowout, and they hold App State to a certain amount of points. And then I like Washington to cover -34 versus Tulsa. Simple enough. Washington is a lead team. Tulsa is not. And I think that spread is too low. My lock of the week, though. So remember how I told you last week about Purdue? So Purdue likes to, well, actually, this is my upset of the week and my lock of the week, too. But
yeah,
Purdue will lose the easy games like they did versus Fresno State. Now they got a road game versus Virginia Tech. They're a 3-point underdog, and they're probably getting counted out right now. Purdue's going to come in and be like, "Oh, we're awake now." They're going to win that game. I guarantee it.
I'm doing that pick. I love that pick.
All right, great. All right, so NFL week 1, baby. We're going to get into some pick'em, but first, we have some interesting developments going across the league. We have a bunch of players that are unhappy with their contract situations, and now we're very uncertain if they're going to be playing week 1. So I'm going to list 5 guys who are in contract disputes right now. So it's Nick Bosa, Chris Jones, Brian Burns, Mike Evans, and Jonathan Taylor. Now we know Jonathan Taylor's not playing week 1 or week 2, 3, or 4. The other 4, they could play it could be announced an hour beforehand that they signed a contract and they're playing. So give me, out of these 4 players, which player would you be most concerned about them not getting a deal done, and which one you're not concerned at all about?
I have to go with Chris Jones because I think it's the most random one out of all of them. He could just be, I mean, he's probably is just getting greedy here, but nobody knows like really what the Chiefs are like thinking. I mean, I'm a huge fan too, and I think if the Chiefs really lose this centerpiece, yes, they still have Steve Spagnuolo, but they don't really have anybody else that like this guy is a Hall of Famer. Like he's a Hall of Famer. Why isn't he signed yet? I don't know what's going on. I think he has the biggest impact on that defense. He obviously does because there's really not a lot of other big names on that defense. But I'm super concerned for Chris Jones one. The one I'm not really concerned for, I'm gonna have to say the Brian Burns one. I feel like Carolina will find a way in the end to pay this guy because he is one of the best pass speed rushers in the NFL, and he is the anchor of that defense. So I think they'll find a deal. They'll definitely find a deal for him because I don't think they're in a rush to make a playoff spot. So that's what I think.
An important note on Brian Burns that I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
To add on, they just drafted Bryce Young, so they got a quarterback on a rookie contract. It's the perfect time to pay Brian Burns. Perfect time to go all in on your supporting cast.
Great point.
To try to get the best team around your young quarterback while you still have him cheap. So I'm definitely not concerned about him, and I'm also not concerned about Nick Bosa for that exact reason. Although, I'm a little more concerned because it's going to be a higher figure because there is no reason that Nick Bosa does not deserve to be the highest paid player at his position in the NFL, or at least get a contract worthy of that. But the 49ers can't let him walk. There's absolutely no way they can let him walk. It's almost like the Chiefs, Chris Jones is so important to the Chiefs, but if he walked, they still got Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. So I think they're playing a cat and mouse game. Chris Jones is losing money. Maybe they think that he won't want to lose money for that long. And you get the other 2 guys, Mike Evans and Jonathan Taylor. Mike Evans seems like the most obvious trade candidate at this point. He knows that this team is not going to win any more Super Bowls. and he's been very loyal to the franchise. He stuck with him through the bad, won a Super Bowl with him. I don't really think he owes him anything else. So he should try to get paid while he's, still coming off in the 1,000-yard season. And then Jonathan Taylor, well, we already talked about running backs enough this offseason,
Yeah.
but like he's not going to get paid. And what's going to happen is in the first few games, we're going to have like a Deion Jackson or Evan Hull, whoever their hot hand at running back is. They're going to have a good game, and it's just going to validate the Colts front office. And Taylor's fucked. There's no other way to put it.
No, yep. I agree.
All right. So
God bless the Colts.
I really hope all these guys play, though. The NFL is better when the best players are playing. But regardless, we're going to have to move forward and make our first picks of the NFL season.
Yes.
Where some of us might have a rough start in college football. Sorry, Chuck. But we get a clean slate when it comes to the NFL for week 1. And so I got 3 games that are some toughies, and we'll get a lock in and upset just like we did last season. We're going to keep track for our picks, and loser has to watch a shitty bowl game on Christmas just like last year.
Facts.
So let's start off with my favorite of the 1 o'clock slate, and that would be San Francisco 49ers going into Pittsburgh. We all know the 49ers made it to the NFC Championship last year. Things got cut short when Brock Purdy's elbow got cut short I'm talking about his circulation.
Well, UCL.
Now they're going into Pittsburgh, who is going to year 2 of Kenny Pickett and healthy TJ Watt. The 49ers might not have Boza. So there's a lot of factors going here. So who are you siding with?
That defense is going to be tough, especially going into, again, another hostile environment that is Steel City. But I think the 49ers, they're fucking hungry to get after it. This is a good first test for a good week 1 matchup. I love it's at -2.5. I'm going to take San Fran. I think they're ready to go offensively. I think Brock Purdy, I watched him in the preseason debut. He looks good throwing the rock. That O-line is still elite. I think it's going to be a good game, and I think they win by 5.
I'm really looking forward to a good game between 2 good franchises led by 2 very good head coaches, probably 2 of the best head coaches in the NFL.
Yeah.
But give me the Steelers in this one. I love them. The advantage that the Steelers have with TJ Watt. If he lines up on that right side, he's going against a former 5th-round right tackle in the 49ers who's making his who's starting for the first time as a full-time starter this year.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a huge matchup to exploit. And you factor in the fact that Boza might not be playing, and if he is playing, is he going to be effective and fully focused? Those are questions to wonder about. Is Purdy fully healed? Is he ready for action again? I've already said that I like this Pittsburgh team this year, and it seems like a spot where the Steelers can prove themselves right away. And I'm not expecting a big game from Pickett, but I'm expecting a defensive battle, maybe like 17-16 Pittsburgh.
I like that.
So now we're going to go to the 4 o'clock slate, and we got some good games here, but this one's very intriguing because you have 2 teams in the NFC North, which are kind of like unknowns. We don't really know what to expect out of them. You got the Packers, who are starting a new era with Jordan Love and have the youngest roster in the NFL, going up against the Chicago Bears, who had the worst record in the NFL last year. But we all know the talent that Justin Fields has, and they added so many veterans to this team. It's by far not the same team as last year. But it's a new looking rivalry. Who do you got winning this one?
I got the Bears. Give me the Bears. Come out at home. I kind of look back to like last year, even though that was like a rain game, but the Bears are ready to come out of the gate swinging, especially against a tough 49er team. I think they're ready to come out swinging again, especially against a team that's not really supposed to win a lot, but people really don't know much about and are ready to see a lot of things because of their coaching and it's a couple of the same offensive weapons that they have. But I don't think that defense is really any good whatsoever. I think Justin Fields is going to have a field day, no pun intended. And And I think DJ Moore is absolutely going to run around that whole defense on short screens, little slants, and I don't think anybody can cover him except for maybe Jair Alexander, but he might line up on the other side.
Honestly, I think that's the one advantage the Packers do have is their secondary has the ability to limit DJ Moore. It's a run defense that's more constrained for the Packers. If Fields gets out open space and does what he does last year, it could be hard for the Packers. But I got the Packers winning this game. I like LaFleur as going in the season with like a prove it mentality. Proving that he can win without Rodgers, and I like some of the advantage that they have. I think there's some speed on these Packers receivers, and the Bears they're kind of liable at the second and third corner positions, and they don't really have any pass rush to speak of. I think the Bears are they added some good free agents, but I don't think they're deserving of some of the hype that they're getting. And I'm sure the Packers all know all well that the Bears are going to try to come in there and try to prove it, try to start a new era. So I like the Packers to keep things going Green Bay's way. This next one is the Monday night game, and this one is it's going to be a tough one. You got the Bills coming into MetLife to play they're coming to MetLife to play the Jets, and this is the first time we're seeing Aaron Rodgers in a regular season game in the Jets uniform. This is the first time we're seeing Josh Allen and Sean McDermott since they bowed out early in the playoffs last year. Both teams and players are looking to prove something. So who do you have?
I got the Bills. Definitely coming out of the gate fired up after what happened last season, how it got cut short. I'm ready for Josh Allen to just excel at the highest level again. That pass rush is going to be probably the most annoying all day, but I was thinking watching Hard Knocks, that pass rush was going against probably one of the worst lines in the NFL, which is the Jets line. So I think the Bills line is going to hold up really well. They're going to run the ball efficiently. Josh Allen is going to run QB power. He's going to be hungry. He's going to take everybody on his back with him. Diggs is going to have a day. I know Sauce Gardner is good and everything, but I was watching Diggs' route today. I think he can have a field day on this kid's Sauce. So I'm going with the Bills.
Now, I don't want to go out and say that Diggs is going to have a field day against Sauce Gardner. I think he performed very well in two matches against him last year. But I'm actually going to agree with you on this one. I like Buffalo, and I think it's going to be a difference between the continuity for the offense for the Bills versus the growing pains that the Jets might have. There's definitely going to be O-line issues.
Yeah.
And I think that there's going to be high expectations coming in for the Jets. I don't think the Bills have that sort of kind of like pressure on them to perform right away,
Yeah.
And I still think there's a lot of young pieces on this Jets team that isn't going to be used to playing a perennial playoff contender and how they've been able to do it year after year. And the Bills are going to come out and they're going to be angry. They're going to play inspired. Damar Hamlin's back.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a very close battle. I think I'm going to go with like 24-21 Bills. But
yeah, like 3-point game.
But it really wouldn't shock me if the Jets won either. But I give the Bills a slight edge just because I could see the Bills pass rush being the difference against the Jets O-line.
And I also think that like the Nathaniel Hackett, Rodgers, like they do have a connection there, but I still think Nathaniel Hackett is like Garbo. Like he might have the worst play calling again on opening day.
Well, luckily he doesn't have to make time management decisions. So at least he's got that going for him.
The Jets are saved. And Saleh is fake as hell, so I don't know. I just think the Jets will jet.
I'm gonna have you elaborate on that later. But anyway, let's go with a lock. What's your lock of the week?
So I actually have two locks. I'm gonna go with the Thursday night game. It was at Chiefs -6.5. Kelsey hyperextended his leg today. it's his ACL is still intact. Like his knee's fine. We don't know if he's playing or not. I think Kelsey's gonna play. I think he's a dog. I think he's gonna say fuck. Like I'm not gonna miss week 1. Like I think his knee's fine, but I haven't read up yet. But it went down to minus 5.5 on FanDuel, and that was at minus 105. I'm getting Chiefs minus 4.5 at minus 120. And then also I'm gonna do Falcons minus 3.5 against the Panthers at home. I think the Falcons are gonna win by 7 and just run all over the Panthers, especially if Brian Burns isn't gonna play, if he's still doing this BS. And the Panthers are the worst team in the league, and we both have the Falcons winning that, or I think you have the Falcons winning that division. So great way to start with the division win by like 20 points.
Now, I just want to go over quickly, and this isn't shit all over Chuck Day, but I will say why I disagree with both picks. For the Chiefs, if Kelsey is out tomorrow, and I think he will be, I think they're going to rest and play it smart. That throws such a wrench in the game plan just 2 days before when they had the whole offseason to prepare. I think that is the kind of thing that can throw off even Andy Reid. And this Detroit team, you know how much I love them. I think they're very improved defensively.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Jones isn't playing. I think that makes such a huge impact because Detroit got such a good offensive line. They're going to get a lot of push and get a good running game going. So I like them to cover that. And with the Falcons minus 3.5, weirdly, if it was minus 2.5, I think they'd be a lot for me too. But that 3 points is very huge for me.
Yeah, it's annoying.
They're still kind of even. They're not that. They're at home. But they're like, I don't know. I just feel like, can Ritter put up points? We have to see it. You know, we know that Bijan is amazing.
Bijan must.
Prove me wrong. I have a lock this week that I absolutely love, and I might even make it my lock of the month. I got the Titans +3 on the road against the Saints. Seems a little spicy. The Saints are getting a lot of hype this offseason. They're NFC South potential champs. They could make it all the way to the NFC Championship game. I heard on ESPN, which is BS. But there's a couple of big matchups that can be exploited. Well, maybe not the lack of being exploited, and that is the Titans lost a lot of pieces on the O-line, so that's going to be their struggles here, block. But the Saints' pass rush is mediocre, maybe even worse than mediocre. They're not going to be able to take advantage of that facet, but the biggest difference is the coaching matchup. This might be one of the biggest coaching mismatches that you could possibly have in a matchup. You got Mike Vrabel, who got the most out of like a not so great roster last year before things started to fall out towards the end. And then you got Dennis Allen, who has the most uninventive play calling, and they don't have Alvin Kamara on their side. I think the Derek Carr's debut just gets spoiled, and the Titans go in the upset, or at least cover the spread +3. So now we got our locks down. Let's get to our upsets. Who we got?
All right. Going with the Giants. They're +150 money line. I was thinking, like, is it really an upset? Probably is. But they're at home. I mean, it's prime time. Danny Dimes is 0-9 in primetime games. But I think the Giants are just ready with a better coaching staff. Rookies are gonna have to show up on defense. Literally everybody's gonna have to show up on defense, but like I think Dak Prescott is on his downfall. I think he's gonna throw like 2 interceptions. I think pass rush is gonna get home. Cowboys O-line pretty good, but I don't think is like exponentially the best in the league. So if they could just keep Dak in the pocket, get sacks, and get home, and the secondary can break up a couple passes, get them in 3rd and long, like trade for some touchdowns or field goals. I'm looking at and then Saquon and the O-line, like the O-line comes out fucking firing against that front 7 that's kind of like really good with the Cowboys, but like I think our O-line has the potential to be the best in the league. So I'm going with the Giants here, and I think they win 27-24.
I like it, and I like the goes back to last year. No one thought they would win that week 1 match versus Titans.
Exactly.
Coaching's a big deal. But it will be interesting to see if that Giants secondary can hold down the Cowboys receivers. That'll be a big thing to watch. I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals getting upset by the Cleveland Browns. If you look at Joe Burrow's career record versus the Browns, it might not be that surprising. He's 1-4 career against the Browns. He didn't win he won the first time last December. And I just get the feeling, based on these reports that are coming out, that all the reports are encouraging about Burrow, that he's day to day, he's making progress, he's likely to play, which is great and all. I think he's going to play regardless, but it's a little worrying that it's not that certain. I think he's playing hurt. I don't think he's going to be as most effective. Combine that with the fact that this Cleveland team made some improvements to their roster, specifically with their run defense, which was the worst aspect of their team last year. It's really just going to come down to, can Deshaun Watson, find his former self? It might not need to happen with the running game if the running game's on point, but all I know is that Myles Garrett has had a field day against the Bengals over the last few seasons, and I expect that to continue in this game. Browns pretty upset.
I actually might tail that, because you're right. The Browns have like every weapon and every position to go off. Like Myles Garrett could have a dominant game against an O-line that's, I think, all back, but like they have a couple of new tackles. So I think he can get home. And then Joe Burrow's hurt with a calf injury that we don't know what's up with that. I mean, maybe it gets worse. Maybe it hinders him. So I actually really like that pick with the Browns. And I think it's time for Deshaun Watson to put aside all the massages and ball the fuck out. So we're due that game. So and it couldn't be against a better opponent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So regardless of how our picks go, we're very excited for football to be back, and we hope that you are too.
Oh yeah.
And we hope that you tune in all season for our football picks, football analysis, and just our general stupid hot takes. Not always stupid though.
Yeah, no.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
A good amount of time.
But do they hit? They
do. They do be
hit.
hitting.
They be hitting.
What do we say about that? They do be hitting.
Can't agree more.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so I am Shoop.
I'm Chuck.
Follow us on Spotify. Subscribe to us on YouTube. But until then, we'll catch you next time.
Hey. Peace. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Get ready for the weekend.
I'm trying.
Get your wings ready. Get your beers. If you're not drinking, if you're not eating, then just go watch some football for 5 minutes.
Use anti-dandruff shampoo.
Yes, Head and Shoulders, preferably.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get some shoulders this weekend.
I'm definitely gonna try and hit the gym this week, so I don't have to this weekend.
Yeah, or hit it at 11 o'clock, so you get those wings ready by 1 o'clock, and you chow down. And
exactly.
You don't feel bad about it.
Are you? What are you doing this? Are you coming back to Jersey again?
Dude, no, I'm not. But I will be. Let's be watching a lot of football. I got Red Zone.
Let's go.
We got Sunday ticket.
For what? Like cable or?
We
like the
friend's got a friend who goes to school. He gets the Sunday discount or the Sunday ticket discount for being a student. So it's Sunday ticket with the Red Zone edition.
Oh, okay, perfect. So you can even watch every fucking game.
Pretty clutch, right?
You got two TVs. Where are you gonna watch it?
I got one TV. It's watching in the living room.
My dad has Red Zone. I'm probably just gonna fucking get there at like 11 a.m. hunker in. I'm gonna bring another TV, and we're gonna put on Red Zone and whatever cable game is playing.
The huge. That's exciting. Yeah. I'll be pizza. Well, if I don't join you for any of those weeks, we got the best seats in the house for one game. So
yeah, I got off for that. I'm fucking ready to rock. And,
let's go.
Yeah, and then you got to come to the Jimbo's for a Sunday
We
whenever
will.
you're
I
around.
mean, I will. Yeah, for sure. All right. I'm signing off.
Yeah,
But, this
bedtime.
will be up. This will be up tomorrow, guaranteed.
I'll send you this.
Cool.
All right, cool beans.
Share it on your socials.
Yes,
Mhm.
I didn't. Yes, the other day because I totally forgot.
That's okay. We got some views. We got like 40-ish views. So
All right, that looks really good. All right, fuck yeah. I
yeah,
gotta
let's
fucking
keep it up.
All right, all right, shoot. I'll see you, Bubba.
All right. I'll
Good shit
see
today.
you
You still squatting?
squatting. Yeah. I did shoulders today.
Same. I did
Um,
back today.
I did bench yesterday. Yeah, I'm just trying to do a little bit of each exercise each week.
I'm gonna do legs tomorrow. Absolutely destroy my fucking quads.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta inflict pain on yourself.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the way to
hey,
do it.
no pain, no gain, baby. I'll see
Uh-huh.
you, brother.
All right. Peace.